Hi, and welcome to Event Live. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Dana Wells with Event Lives, and I am joined today by Brian Acheson of VIP Events out of Dallas, Texas. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
Excellent. Excited about our first Event Lives interview. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
You are the owner of VIP Events, and you also have held various positions with International ILEA, International Live Events Association, including the international presidency for a while. So why don't you
Right.
tell us a little bit about what you do for VIP events and some of your experience with ILEA?
All right. We here at VIP Events, we focus solely on corporate, and that means that we travel the country and do corporate events, conferences, and meetings. And so specifically, I guess you'd say we're a meeting planner and heavy into technical production on large-scale shows, and of course, special events and live events as always. So that's what we focus on here, or what I focus on. And then as far as ILEA, yes, I was the international president. I think I was president number 25. I was also, of course, president here locally at the Dallas chapter.
Terrific, thanks. And so today we're talking about what it's like to be in this wild and exciting industry of events. And you kind of epitomize that. You do a ton of travel. And you do. And you've been in the industry for, close to 30 years?
Yeah,
Very,
since '84.
what's that?
Whatever. Since '84, what I don't know. They told me there would be no math, so I.
Right, we're not going to do the math on it.
Thanks.
Either. Okay. So, one of the things that is so interesting is that you work mainly out of Dallas. You're all over the country. So why don't you give us a little overview of what travel life is like and how you make it all work?
Travel life. So yeah, I do work mostly out of Dallas, and I think people that do corporate, even in large cities, do, because Dallas is a major conference spot. So our clients will come through, they'll find us for the first time maybe, and then thankfully they like me, so they ask me to go to the next one. They ask silly questions like, "Do you go to Atlanta?" Yes. They have airplanes. I'm good. So I do get to travel a lot. I'm on the road. I wouldn't, it may be averaging, it's at least once a week. It's not probably twice a week, but it's a lot. So, and it's not all shows, but when you're doing these large scale corporate meetings and events, then you do get into site visits and selections and meeting with vendors and team partners and just meeting with the client in their office and going over the entire schedule and everything that they need to accomplish all their goals. So there is a lot of travel.
Right, right. So with that amount of travel, I know you also have been married. You are married, and you have a child. So,
Dude.
how do you talk a little bit about how you handle the all of your personal and your family obligations? I mean, I talk to a lot of event professionals, and that's always. I know it's hard in other industries, but I don't know, especially in our industry, because we are on the go so much, and the events are at all hours of the night also. So talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Well, I'll say that I was in the events industry before she met me, so she kind of knew what she was getting into.
Okay.
This isn't new, but we work the business together, so that helps a lot. When you travel this much, I mean, there's just business things that need to take place and home life things. So all that sort of commingles together in my case, and it's just one, here's the stuff you need to get done today. Whether, I think right now she's out getting the water tested for the swimming pool. But earlier we were writing vendor checks. So, it's just, that's the stuff that had to be done on a random Tuesday. So, when I'm gone, she takes care of everything, whether it's business or personal. And, when I'm back at home and in Dallas, she still takes care of that. We have to find a balance of, since I'm gone so much, it can't be, well, it's one way when I'm here and a different way when I'm home. It's got to be the same way, because frankly, I find that I just get in the way, or I'm told that a lot. she'll look at her watch, be like, so you haven't left town in 7 days. I'm like, yeah, I know, sorry, honey.
Yeah.
Got to schedule a site visit. But so, they of course have a routine, as anyone with a child does. And, it's flexible, but it's still a routine. He still has to go to school every day. I remember what that was like. So they have to keep that way even when I'm on the road. And that's probably one of the tips, is just keep it the same. Try not to make a big deal that you're gone or you're here. Just, that's the way it is. You're either here or you're not.
Is there any, do you have any tips, or do you guys have any special, I don't know, regiment that you use when you're out on the road to stay in touch and to handle personal business, or your son's at school to handle issues that come up? Do you have a way that you guys typically handle that?
Yeah, I mean, how it is on the road. Some days are really, really busy because you've got 50 vendors loading into a ballroom with one dock. But then other days, it's just, you have a meeting at 12 and a meeting at 4, and you got a couple of meetings with clients and to go over schedules. But so on those days, we tend to talk more. We always talk via text or WhatsApp. She and I do. Now, Jordan's different. That's my son's name. We found out a long time ago when he was really young, he wasn't good with schedules changing back then. Like, if he thought that was the plan, he got really upset that wasn't the plan.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So we found that when I would call him, it just made him more upset. And he was like, so when are you coming home? And then he'd get really upset. So a long time ago, we just decided, hey, I'm just not here. And he's fine with it now. He's 17. He's not a child anymore. So he doesn't care. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. He goes, oh, great, again. And that's about the extent of the conversation. But if he needs something, he texts. But any emergencies, of course, we talk like we always would. But that's sort of how we handle it, is we text as often as possible. And, I try to say goodnight, even if it's just on text.
Right, good.
Because I'm still working at midnight. She's going to bed. Yeah. No matter what time zone I'm in, I always stay up later than she does. So,
right.
Yeah.
And it's understood. Yeah, we're just, yeah.
Yeah. But, some of the other things I try to do, I got into the habit of, if it's a one night, then I'll leave really early in the morning. And it's an awful long day for me. So I'll be at the airport at 5. And then I'll try to be home like the next day after he gets out of school or something along those lines. So, I'm not gone so much. So something, if I don't need to spend 2 nights, then I don't. I just spend one.
Yes.
Like I said, it makes it awful.
Okay. So yeah, so you've gotten to a point where you're able to be a little bit more in control of your schedule. I mean, do you communicate that with clients? You try to set your meetings?
I do. We always set our meetings, and it's good for them too, because at this stage, my clients typically aren't from there either. So we tend to do all of us are flying in. So we all need that morning space to be able to get in, especially if we're going to East Coast, because it's an hour ahead. And so, I think the earliest I can get to New York is like 11. So I can't do a meeting until 12:30. And the clients are the same way. So that's helpful. And when it comes to vendors, I just try to schedule them when is best time for travel.
Right, great.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about creativity, because you're in an interesting role where you oftentimes you are the provider, you're the vendor, and then there's times you are the client.
Yeah.
And then you're also working with people from all over the country and international.
Yeah.
So, and you're on the road so much. So how do you stay inspired creatively? What are you doing while you're on the road or you're back home in the office so that you can have fresh ideas and look at things in a new way? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a challenge, I think, for anybody to stay creatively, and that's not even the right word, but I think it's a challenge to just stay fresh and focused and get new ideas, exactly what you said. So I am lucky enough that I do get to work with a lot of great designers. So even when we're not on the same show, I'll still look at their work for other shows that they're doing for other clients. And it's really helpful because they're super creative, those designers that we get to work with. So we get to see their work even when they're not with us, and that helps. Going to conferences certainly helps because it gives you such a cross section of everybody, from someone who just started in the industry and still has value and they're still creative, but they just started, to somebody, like John Daly, who's been around forever. So anybody in between, and that's what's great at those conferences. And I try to get to as many as I can just for networking and creativity. But I look at a lot of the TV programs these days, a lot of the live events they have, whether it's award shows or Olympics or whatever else, those are great sources of it. Also looking through industry magazines, I still do that. Even though it's print, I don't have a problem with it. I guess I'm that age. So.
Yeah, it's something you can throw in your bag, I guess, on the airplane, right?
It is, yeah. If I'm not sleeping at 4 a.m. on an airplane, then I am looking through a magazine, because I usually don't work on the airplane. I try not to.
Okay, good. So another thing I hear from producers that are on the road a lot is, again, with respect to time, or finding and making that time to take breaks. So you talked to me recently about a really great vacation you had planned with your wife. And I wanted to get your take on how you make that time to take vacation and to recharge.
It took me forever to learn that if I didn't schedule me on the calendar, like an Outlook, then it never happened. Because something will always come up, and it's just enough that it gets in the way, but you can't move it. So, whenever I want to take off, which is almost never, I will put it in the calendar and block it so that I don't put other meetings on it. Nobody else does either. So that's the only way to get it done, is to schedule it. And so, I do try. We do go on vacation once a year, which is nice. That's probably about it. Being corporate, though, I tend not to work a lot during Christmas holidays, because large-scale corporate doesn't do holiday parties. So, or they haven't for 20 years. And when they did, it was a votive candle in a mirror from the hotel, and it's hard to make money on that. But so I did take her, though. It was our 25th wedding anniversary, and I thought we just needed some time for us to be in a different spot. So I completely surprised her. I packed for her, didn't tell her where we were going, took her off the Amex card, took her off of the American Airlines thing. So I cut her off from all that. Wow. And so I could surprise her. She didn't even know when we got to the airport. So
yeah, I mean, the red flags weren't going off to her.
No, she knew we were going. I just wasn't going to tell her. And every time she asked, I'd be like, yes, we're going to Iowa. Yes, we're going to Montana. Whatever she asked, I just said yes.
Okay.
But we ended up in London, Paris, and Rome for 10 days, and she really liked it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's amazing that you were able to keep it secret. How did you do all of that planning? I mean, that's quite a bit.
I know how to do it, but part of our role division here is I don't do any of the family planning. So I was kind of rusty at it. I had to figure it out. It took some time. Because she handles all the personal celebrations, if we have to go see a cousin graduate or a nephew or niece at this point. So whatever it is, she handles all that, just sticks it on the calendar, and I just show up. So that works pretty good. But yeah, it wasn't easy. We had some friends in ILEA that helped across the pond. So that was great.
Okay.
Of course, again, we were home for 12 hours and I went to a show in Jersey. So, so I was in Rome one day and in New Jersey the next day. Kind of different. No offense to those people in Jersey. Sorry, Jennifer.
Just a little slow, maybe from jet lag, right?
Yeah, but it was fun. So, but you got to go to work, got to pay for it somehow.
And then when you're over there, 10 days away, that's quite a bit. Were you still checking emails and?
Yeah, I had a client that couldn't figure out signage. They couldn't figure out signage.
Oh.
They were like, "Oh no, we're doing it." I'm like, "Sure." So I left, and sure enough, they didn't do it. So yeah, I was sitting outside. Where was I? Somewhere near London Bridge or Tower Bridge. Actually, I was sitting outside of Tower Bridge at a pastry shop, getting phone calls with signage. So yeah, sorry, but we needed it.
Yeah, little stuff like that, you have to handle it, right?
Yeah, you do. It took more than an hour to handle it, but we got it. We got the proofs, got the thing, got it over to a shipping place. He said, "Wow, y'all kind of waited till the last minute, didn't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry. Welcome to events."
But it got done. Good
It
story.
got done, and it was fun, and it looked gorgeous, and I think they still have it to this day. So
That's
that's
great.
fine. It's just one of those things. I mean, I guess, we're blessed to work in this corporate environment and industry that we get to do what other people just see the cool stuff. They don't see all the work behind it. So, take advantage of it, but you got to get a break when you can. It just sort of all muddles together, and that's fine, is what it is.
So what do you, I mean, so in ending up here in closing, what keeps you getting up, in the morning to go to work and to do it? What's the most exciting facet of events for you today?
I think the most exciting thing about events, just in general, about live events and meetings and technical production, is that it always changes and somebody's always got a brand new idea. And every day, somebody wants to drop a project in your lap that's bigger and better than the last one, you know?
The
And
challenge.
that's exciting. And I like that it's in a different place. We talk about travel, but just embrace it. It's part of the show. I think it's better than going to the same office and downtown Texas where I live, and having to be there from 8 to 5 every day. I'm in a different city, in a different ballroom, work with different people, different client. It's got a new scope of work and services. And that's really exciting, something new every day. And that keeps me motivated. It's interesting.
Right. It's always fresh. Yeah. Something
Yeah,
fresh.
even if it's the same client and it's the show from last year, it's a completely different show. It's in a different city.
Right.
They have a different theme because their attendees are the same, even though on our side we're all different. So we keep it unique, exciting, and fresh, and that gets me out of bed in the morning.
It sounds fun. Yeah. I know you're doing it. It sounds great. Well, appreciate your time today. Thank
Sure,
you.
thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for being on our first Event Lives interview, Brian.
Anytime. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Uh, bye.
Bye.